everybody, and welcome back. It's your girl Kelly H Town. Now in today's video I will be discussing my holy grail face powders. Like, these are the powders that I constantly go back to every single day. I generally bounce between a couple when it comes to setting my foundation, but I also have a powder that I set my primer with, and all of that will get discussed in this video. But before we get started, come on now. You know how this works. Subscribe to my channel and click that bell icon so that you can get those notifications when I post new videos. So without any more time getting wasted, let's get into this video. Alright, so the first powder that I'm going to be talking about is this right here. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder. Now, when they first came out with these, like, when I say these were probably the hardest things to find, these were the hardest things to find. But once they finally did drop them in drugstores, I quickly grabbed onto these. And when I say these powders have not failed me, these powders have not failed me. They definitely keep me matte majority of the day. And they're a very loosely, if you can't see that, it's a very fine milled powder. It's very soft, and it doesn't feel like it's going to be cake central on my face. And every time I use this, it's never cake central on my face. I always get complimented when I use this powder. They're like, man, your makeup looks really, really good. And a lot of times it's when I'm using this. So I have the colors 30 medium deep and 35 deep. Now, obviously I use this one if I ever do to like set my under eye, because it's a little bit lighter, and then I generally like to use deep over my face, and sometimes I use a mixture of these two to kind of get that color, because sometimes the deep can run a little bit too dark. So I like to make sure, so I personally have to mix powders no matter what. So I really like those powders, and I highly recommend them. They are very, very good. Now, this powder does come in 5 shades. It comes in light, medium, medium deep, deep, and dark. So it kind of runs the spectrum. So if you are a lot more fair complected, you've got 2 shades. If you're kind of in between, you've got medium, and then if you're darker, you've got deep and dark. So it kind of, you pretty much have a powder pretty close to you. So just kind of choose what works for you. Personally, the medium, deep, and deep work for me. In the summertime, I will sometimes have to mix the deep and the dark, because your girl gets brown in the summer. Like, I got, especially this summer, I got really dark. And I ended up having to go down. I drop about 3 shades in the spectrum. So if you think I'm light now, wait till the summer. But I really do recommend this powder. This powder is great. I believe it's $5.89 right now at Target. So if you want to, stock up on this powder, if you really do like it, I would highly recommend it. Alright, so the next powders that I'm going to talk about are these lovelies right here. So this is the Ben Nye Translucent powder, and I have the Banana Luxury powder, which I use strictly for under my eyes, and then I have the Luxury powder in Topaz, and I have it in Sienna. So like I said previously, I have to mix my powder, so I mix these two, and they generally tend to work for me. And like I said, I use this one strictly under my eyes. This is considered stage quality makeup. Now, if you have sensitive skin, I don't know if this would probably be the best product for you, because it is a bit of a heavier powder. But knowing me personally, since I am combination oily, I need a bit of a heavier powder to help keep me matte. And these powders definitely help to keep me matte most of the day. And I really, really enjoy these powders. Now, these powders come in a lot of shades. So they come in more shades than the Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder, and it you can pretty much find anything to suit your skin tone. Now, obviously, they do vary in undertone. So, like the Sienna is a little bit more red, and then the Topaz is a little bit more golden. So, generally, and because I have a little bit of both, my skin tone's weird. So, like, I have some traces of red, but but mostly, as you can see, I'm golden. So I can't use this by itself, or else I will look a little crazy. So I mix these two, and these two colors actually do marry with each other, and they create a really nice color for me on my face to help set my foundation. I personally don't like white powders to set my face because it starts to look weird on my skin. So I personally like a colored powder when it comes to setting my foundation. So if you're looking for a really good quality powder that's going to help you stay matte, especially if you're combination oily, these powders are definitely one to pick up. Now, price-wise, they vary. I buy mine from Makeup Mania, and they generally run about $13.50 for some of these. Some of them are a little bit. I think this one's a little bit less. This one was probably $8. So wherever you find it, I like Makeup Mania because I know that I'm gonna get Ben Nye, because they are an authorized Ben Nye seller. So if you can find it on Amazon, and I'm pretty sure you can find it on eBay, but me personally, I trust Makeup Mania to buy my Ben Nye powders. But like if you go through like a stage makeup website, majority of the time they have these, and they generally have these for reasonable prices, because some places it's like, you got me messed up if you think I'm about to drop $20. No. So yeah, these like $13.50, between like $8 and $13.50. If you get the bigger one, there's one size bigger than this. This is the 1.5 ounce, and they also comes in 3 ounces. So the 3 ounce one obviously is going to be a little bit more. So if you end up liking this powder a lot, it might be a bigger value for you, because like I've had this for probably well over 6 months, and I'm not even halfway through the container. And like even here and here, like I've had this one for maybe like 3 weeks, and I've barely scratched the surface. So you will not have to buy this very often, because you don't go through it super quick, because as long as you don't poke a lot of holes in the top, like keep the little film on, don't poke a lot of holes in the top, and you won't use a lot of powder as you're using this product, but I highly recommend it. Alright, now the final powder that I'm about to feature is this. This is the Coty Airspun Translucent Powder. I personally like using this powder to set my primer, because it is a very finely milled powder, and it isn't that expensive. You can find this at Walgreens, Walmart. I'm pretty sure you can find it at Target. And it comes in 2 formulas. It comes in the translucent extra coverage, and then it just comes in a translucent, which is like their just standard coverage. I have the translucent extra coverage because, again, I'm combination oily, and I'm not trying to look like an oil slick before midday happens. So this particular powder I really like a lot. Now, obviously, it's gonna make me, and I've used this in videos, like I always say, I'm gonna look like Casper for a hot second, because it's not complete. Now, against my skin tone, it's not really translucent. But again, I'm not using that to set my makeup or my foundation. I'm using it to set my primer, and then I put my foundation over it. So this powder is really, really nice. I believe at Walgreens I think it's like $8. So, and I mean, obviously that price is going to vary between stores, but again, I live like 5 minutes from a Walgreens, so I just found it at Walgreens. I said, ooh, let me get it. And it was like $7.99, $8. So I highly recommend this powder if you want to use it to set your makeup, especially if you're more fair complected, it's going to work for you. But if you're of a deeper complexion, this can be a really good setting powder for your primer so that there's a bit of a barrier already for your foundation to sit on top of, rather than you putting your foundation straight on top of your primer. So it gives it a little bit of an extra something to hold on to. But I really like this powder. Alright guys, so hopefully you enjoyed my video talking about my Holy Grail face powders. Now, again, I use those powders regularly, especially the Coty Airspun and the Midnight. Well, I really use all of them. Now, I bounce between the Midnight and the Maybelline Fit Me. Just depends on the day. If I'm going for more of like a natural face, I really like the Maybelline Fit Me. If I'm going for more of like I really need to look beat kind of day, then I hit up the Midnight a lot more. So hopefully you find something that you like. And again, all of these powders are under $50. So it's not gonna break your bank and you will get a lot of use out of them. So before we go, you already know what you gotta do. Don't you waste no more time in this video. You better click that subscribe button and click that bell so that you can get notifications when I post new videos. So until next time, guys, deuces.